In 2001, I was the principal of the high school for leadership and public service. I remember looking up at the clock. It was 8:45. I could see the reflection of the World Trade Center in front of that, and I could see debris just spewing out from the building. Within seconds, a young man walked into the lobby. He couldn't speak, and I'm going, "Are you okay?" And I could see tears streaming down his face. I said, "What's the matter, David?" And in a whisper, he said to me, "A plane hit the building." A few more stragglers kept coming in. As they were coming in, they were almost in a catatonic state. One particular young lady said to me, "Mrs. Dolch, a big plane hit the building." And I said, "Are you sure it was a big plane?" And I said, "Did you see it?" She says, "Yes, I saw it." I remember saying to her, what building?" And she said, "I think the one with the antenna." And then I said, "My God, my sister Wendy is there." And then I remember saying a prayer and say, "God, you have to take care of Wendy because I have to take care of my kids." I would have lost sight of my responsibility on that day with the students in the school if I had allowed an emotion, like wondering where my sister was, to come into play. We begin to see debris falling in front of our building. We have all windows in our building, so the kids are watching right immediately what's going on. They're observing what you saw in the paper, what you've read about, they saw firsthand. They could see people landing. I said, "I've got to get these kids out of this building." I said, "Stay together, stay with a partner." And just as we get to the sidewalk where Battery Park is, and I'm hearing this crackling sound, and I realize now it's the steel beams of the building just that are crashing and coming down. And that's when Lower Manhattan went into total chaos. And I look back, and there's this cloud that is coming towards me, bigger than life, and I thought I was going to die. And then it hurt. It was glass, like glass cutting into your skin. Like it went from the most beautiful sunny day to black. I, of course, immediately started thinking, "Oh my God, where are the kids?" And then I started walking, and I realized I started finding pockets of kids. And I remember one little girl looking at me and saying, "Mrs. Dolch, you need to wash your face, and you need lipstick." That was important to her. She wanted me normal again, and I wasn't normal at that moment. We were very heavily involved and engaged in conversations with our students as to our returning, what it would be like, what our fears would be, what our concerns might be. December, probably more like January. We actually took the students in small groups back into the building, and we had them take a look from the upper floors and kind of, reminisce what had happened that day and to review what had gone on. This time with counselors, with art therapists, all in preparation for our actual return. And we returned back to our home, back to our school building, February the 1st of 2002. We just wanted to be back where we belonged and be a part of a community that was rebuilding, not only physically, but emotionally. And we felt that in order for us to really continue our journey of healing, and there was a big need for that, we needed to go back. So there were a couple of things that we as a school engaged in so that the students would feel a part of the community in several ways. Number one, first and foremost, it was about education and instruction, teaching and learning. We're going back to math, social studies, and science in your school building. And they were very excited to do that. The other thing that became very critical, and of course it was kind of easy because the name of our school was Leadership and Public Service. So one of the things, the values that we just attempted in every way to instill in every child, inculcate, was that of leadership. And leadership, it's something that you just take on. You make something happen. What would make it a little bit better? What role would you like to play? And those were the questions that we were always asking the students. And then, of course, public service, which meant, we have to do something for ourselves and for our fellow man.
And so what do we do to make our community better? One of the things we started in our school was our knitting club. The project became, you want to knit? The first 3 things that you knit, you're going to give away. They learned how to make little sweaters. They made blankets. And then we put them together, and we adopted a homeless shelter and also a battered women's shelter. Planting became the thing that perhaps was, I'm going to say, one of the best therapeutic ingredients to help our own healing. We wanted to give back to Battery Park. Battery Park was the place where we ran to for safety on that morning of September 11th. And we so understood the power and the beauty of green open space. One of the issues that came up often was the concern of how is the message or the incident that occurred on September 11th, how is that going to be discussed in the future? And I was always concerned, what is the message that we're going to carry? Because there was a lot of negativity associated with what happened on September 11th. I would say to the students, you know what? You are a history maker. You are making history just as it's happening. And people will want to touch you and talk to you about this for the rest of your life. As soon as people know that you were down there on September 11th, that you were in a building that evacuated on 9/11, that you saw what you saw from the windows, people are going to want to ask you how you felt, what happened, etc., etc. So again, I wanted it to have a very positive spin. How do you put a positive spin on something so ugly? Clearly, it's about humanity. It's about people to people. The initial question was, what would be the legacy to your sister Wendy? And I wouldn't know of anything else other than education. I'm an educator, and that's all I've done my entire life. I said, imagine if we built a school in Afghanistan. And in 2005, I had the joy of traveling to Afghanistan, where the city of Herat, where we were able to actually cut the ribbon. And all we ever wanted, we said, was for boys and girls to be able to attend the school. And sure enough, boys attend school in the morning, girls attend school in the afternoon. And education would have to be the answer, because to me, education is the way that we sit at the table and together we learn about others and how to appreciate others and support others and respect others. Differences, but respect each other.